Hello everyone, the first really big, exciting video game release of the summer, a summer that's going to be packed full of games, has arrived a few days earlier than I was expecting it, which is always good. We have the new remake of The House of the Dead, the Limidead edition. And we'll take a look at the case and talk a bit about the game. I played a bit of it last night. This arrived yesterday late afternoon. And I was very, very hyped to this game. I like the lenticular slipcover. Pull that off. And look at the whole image underneath. Look at that way that pops out. It's really cool. I really wanted to grab this for the Switch. Definitely that kind of thing. I prefer the Switch. And I will say, before even talking about the game, we have the stickers here with the, take out that little remake there. That's a classic decal that was on the arcade machines. We'll probably end up getting the PS4 version as well, especially because Amanda really loves her PlayStation 4. And two little standees. That's kind of a cool extra and unique, not really something to see a lot. And the inner cover, which is the normal cover you see on regular releases, and I like that artwork. I think that's a cool cover. It definitely shows off the newer version. I kind of like this. It would be cool to have the classic cover, but I kind of like they did something a little different. And of course on the inside, just a little Switch cartridge in there. So as a quick look at the game, I'm really glad this came out physically, and it's cool to have all these little extras, a nice little special edition. And I was very hyped for this game because I've always been a massive fan of classic Sega, especially arcade games, and I loved the remake of the first Panzer Dragoon, and they're going to be doing the second one, and after this they're also going to do House of the Dead 2. So this was great, and the original House of the Dead is always been my favorite in the series. I really like 2, which is definitely the most popular, and I also really enjoyed 3. 4 is okay, but 1 and 2 are the real classics for me, and 1 will always be my favorite, the House of the Dead, that actually takes place in the house. And this was an arcade classic that I played since the first year it came out into arcades. There was an arcade at the beach that we went to every single summer that had it right away, and we would play that. Every year I looked forward to doing that. It was like a once-a-year thing where we would play the first Time Crisis and House of the Dead 1 and then House of the Dead 2, and another big one was Carnival and Area 51. All those, I love those on-rails arcade shooters. One of my favorite genres, fun to play, and it's great to be able to get this because the original House of the Dead was only released on PC, like Windows 95, and the Sega Saturn, and not really anything else. So home consoles, 2 has been released on a ton of different things, the Dreamcast, and then Typing of the Dead, that version on the Dreamcast as well. It's on the Wii with 3. It's an extra unlockable in the Xbox version of 3. You can play House of the Dead 2. House of the Dead 2 is on a lot of things, so I was really excited for 1, and it's a really good remake. It's not quite, in between the two, even nostalgia aside, I think the original version I like a little bit more, but it's a great remake. It's a great way of introducing to people that have never played these before. It plays fantastically. I only had one little performance hiccup, and last night I played through the entire thing, just like a normal arcade mode through the whole thing. I played a little bit of the new Horde mode with tons of extra creatures coming at you. Just for a little bit, there's one little moment of some kind of stuttering and lag, but that was it over the entire time I played. That was one little, so performance-wise is really good. It's a lot of fun to play. I like, graphically, I like the way there's a mixture of keeping true to the classic designs, but the little bit of a different visual look to it with the remake. The sound design is the only thing that I'm a little, not disappointed, but doesn't quite live up to the original for me. The music is not quite the right feel. It's still like it, and it's a lot of fun and arcadey, but I prefer the original. And in a weird way, the voice acting in here, it still retains a little bit of that cheesy fun, but it's almost a little bit too good. It's really, a bizarre thing to say, but the House of the Dead, the nonsensical, cheesy dialogue, and the ridiculous voice work, they work together to create a particular charm, and here it's missing a little bit of that. It's not quite, it's almost weird that the voice acting is a little bit better, and that makes it worse. It's a weird dynamic, but that aside, this is great. I really love this, and I have high hopes for the remake of 2. Definitely worth picking up. Well worth your money. It's a lot of fun, single player or multiplayer. It's a great arcade game. Again, it's one you can play over and over again, finding the different pathways. Even from the very beginning, saving or not saving the one guy on the bridge, whether you go right into the house, the front door, or you go, down to the left, underneath, and all the different pathways throughout there. It's always fun to explore and different modes. So it's a great game that you will spend a lot of time playing. And really, again, I have no real complaints. It's just those few little things that aren't quite up to the original, but otherwise, it's a very good, very faithful remake. And I had a ton of fun with it. I'm really excited. And this is what I really want to see more of. A lot of these classic franchises have just been shelved. They're just in storage somewhere. No one's doing anything with them, and I love to see companies like Sega looking outside themselves to other companies to bring some of these back. Again, Panzer Dragoon and House of the Dead, and we have those coming out, and I'd love to see a similar treatment to like a Crazy Taxi, or even Space Channel 5, or give an indie studio, if Sega's not going to do anything, give a studio like this, Skies of Arcadia, and let them do like a remaster. Just free up those franchises for a revival, because there's so many great classic games out there that could use this type of treatment. And I'm very excited. This is a great summer release, perfect timing. I think they did a fantastic job.